Angie. Hello, 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 amigas, and welcome to Amiga Handle Your Sh podcast. And I have an incredible soul here with me today. I'm so honored. She is my personal coach. She's an executive coach for powerhouse women. So I guess I'm a powerhouse woman. This is Angie Correa, and she's here back up again. Second time around here on the podcast. And the reason is because I really wanted her to talk to us about this concept of earning more income aside from your 9-to-5 job, or you have this one, business, if you will, but you know that there's all these other things that you can invest in and have free flowing income without really doing much work. So I really wanted her to be here. And as you know from the intro, she came from the corporate side, so she knows everything. And we might even touch upon that a little bit. But more importantly, I wanted her to discuss these side gigs, these side hustles. And so without further ado, this is Angie Correa. Welcome, my love. How are you?
I am so great. I'm so great. And yes, you are an absolute powerhouse. I adore you. And it's clients like you that make everything that I do so worthwhile because, we get to change the world together.
Oh, hell yeah, girl.
I love it.
I'm telling you, like I had been keeping my eye on Angie for a long time. And so many things, like life, things are always happening for us, never to us. And so, I had bought a house. I did all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, Angie was on my frontal lobe, because I'm thinking, okay, I love what she talks about, these side hustles. So of course, I'm like, I am a powerhouse woman. I'm going to invest in this particular coach because she's fucking amazing. So excuse my French, because that's how I talk when I feel so grounded and so powerful. So Angie, okay. Mm-hmm. So you came from the corporate side. Mm-hmm. And, without, getting into the particulars of that, you created a business, a holistic coaching business. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. And so, coming out of corporate, and I was in corporate for almost 25 years, what I noticed, and especially that I was on mostly female teams, what I noticed was that a lot of us were being overlooked. We weren't moving up as quickly as some of the men. And this is not a, male bashing session or anything like that, but it just really was like, what were we asking for? What were we allowing? And what were we, really taking a stand for? And so, and funny enough, I had gotten laid off. And that's what brought the whole thing about, because I realized that if this was happening to me, how many other people that was that happening to? And after you put so much blood, sweat, and tears into a career and into a company, and, when they shift and change their model of, payouts or commissions or structure, it's usually the women that are the first to go. And forget it. I was in digital media and I was over 40, and I'm like, wow. And especially this last year, like I saw so much more of that happening. And so when I started my company about almost 8 years ago now, it was really about supporting women in moving up or moving out of their careers, to really live in a place where they were co-creating something, that they were leaving a legacy for their families and having a greater impact. Because that was the other conversation that I was having with a lot of people, and how I felt. I was like, I was in advertising. I'm like, I was responsible for millions and millions and millions of dollars. And I was like, what's the impact I, Angie Correa, am making? What's the legacy? What does it all mean? Right? So long story short, I say all that to say that that's what really brought me to the point of starting my business and really being in support of others.
Oh, well, oh my God. Okay, amigas out there. So she's definitely in support of us. And I say that because, as you all know, I've been a lawyer now since the year 2000. So it's been a freaking long ass time. And a couple of years ago, I realized that after the plowing, the hustle, the grind, and all that, I knew there was something out there that was better for me. I knew in my heart that I could use my gifts and talents in a very different way. And it's thanks to people like Angie who actually inspired me and really allowed me to hone into my gifts and talents, that I don't need to hustle, I don't need to grind anymore. I already put in the work, and now I can create a business that is different streams of income.
Mhm.
And of course, having Angie as my coach, I realized, I'm like, oh my God, I know that amigas out there need to hear this, that whether you have a 9 to 5 kind of job, or for me, it was like a fucking endless kind of job, because when you go to trial, forget it, amigas, it's crazy. You're putting in more hours than you can even, have in your sleep, if you will. And so, when I look back, I'm like, God, I'm trading my time for money, and the money is not really measuring up to the time. So there must be a better way. And
Mhm.
so, Angie, okay, please tell us, what are the better ways? Because seriously,
Yeah.
I like, now being on the other side of the fence, I
Yeah.
can honestly say my life is so much better. I feel so much more supported. I feel like I can co-create, not
Mhm.
just do this by myself. So
Mhm.
please, please, please tell us.
Yeah, so let's take a quick step back, right? Because I think what's important to also note is that yes, this pandemic, everything that we're coming out of right now has forever changed the world, right? And my belief is that there is no more time to waste, right? There is absolutely no more time to waste. Now, that being said, I'm going to share like a quick story about, I don't even know, like 10, 15 years ago. I was going through a divorce. And so for me, it wasn't just a human that was walking out the door. It was another salary, another 6-figure salary that was walking out the door. So while I had my great paying corporate advertising gig, I still had a hefty income leaving, right? That was part of the household that we were living, right? And so I made a conscious decision to add that back in somehow, some way, right? And so that's when I really started my framework of, you must always have a backup plan. You must always have a couple of side hustles, because you just never know when anything's going to happen. So even when I got laid off, 8 years ago, I had my other side hustle. So I took a couple of weeks off, went to Mexico, came back, and I still had money coming in. And so that's where I really want to kind of ground everybody in that thought process. Now, fast forward, right? So I've been doing this for a long time, having that thought process, that methodology, have incorporated that into my own life and lifestyle, because I'm also a single woman and one salary is just not going to cut it. But I am not about to go and get a job in a store or whatever. I know that is what some people get to do and need to do and must do to survive. But like, I knew that there was another way, there was a better way, right? And so here's the thing, right? We are now even that much more so in a work from anywhere revolution.
Oh, I love that. Work from anywhere revolution. Oh,
Right?
yes.
Right? So what does that mean? It means that if you have the right tool and the right strategy, and of course the right work ethic, you can make more income, you can create more time, you will have more flexibility. And all of that is the formula for more independence, right? So when you're talking about, like, I worked so much, so long for a job, right? That then it was not a 9 to 5, it was a 9 to 50, whatever that looked like, right? And then to have the independence, then that's what we're talking about. Okay. So I wanted to kind of plant that framework. And so if you hear my cat is like super loud right now every time I'm on Zoom. So God bless her.
She wants to be on.
She totally wants to. She's like, I'm a star.
Yes.
So anyway, so we have that, right? So we have that ability, and more people are thinking that way now. They have to. And if you're not, I implore you, please think about other ways. And it is, again, it does not have to mean that you're killing yourself working, graveyard shifts in a restaurant or in, a construction company or anything like that. Like, sure, those are available. I know that, but there are other ways, because we as women forget that we get so much done in a day, right? And so what our skills are can be monetized. So we want to look at first really saying, okay, what is it that I do that can be monetized that will make somebody else's life easier? And that's a side hustle, right? So I know somebody who's really good at Excel spreadsheets. She literally monetized that because there's so many other people that look at an Excel spreadsheet and are like, oh, I'm not touching it. And I'm one of them. I'm like, what? Like, no, I'll take my Post-its and my, chicken scratch notes and whatever. But she really has been able to create a business out of saying, I can organize this all for you in an Excel spreadsheet, whatever you're looking at. Right? She's making multi six figures doing that. So that's one way, right? We take what we do with our eyes closed and we create that. So here's the other conversation, because there's definitely that piece of it. But even before we get there, what kind of income do you want to be working for? When you really think about it, and we, especially in America, are being taught, you go to a job, you make a decent income, you come home, and there you have it. And that's called linear income. You're trading your time and they're giving you a paycheck, right?
Yes.
Trading your time. Now, if you really stop to think about that, is what they're paying you really worth your time?
No.
Exactly. For most people, it is not. Even if it's good money. And I'm talking, I've made multi-six. I scratched the surface of 7 figures, right? But it really then becomes, it's not about being greedy, and it's not about like, oh, you should have, like, I have people in my family that are like, you just need enough. Well, what's enough? And why does somebody else have to determine that?
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then when we put that and we really are like, holy smokes, okay, I don't want that anymore. Then we look at leveraged income. And leveraged income is really beautiful if you can grasp the fact that we can build businesses with third-party companies that allow you to team build so that everybody is earning income. Now, I'm gonna debunk the myth. Everybody talks, well, that sounds like a pyramid scheme to me. Well,
they're saying that multi-level
Yeah.
is a pyramid, right?
Right, exactly. So here's what I wanna implore your listeners to think about, right? When you think about your 9-to-5 job, and you think about the president of the company and the senior vice president and the chief technical officer, and you think of all those positions, where are they in the structure?
They're at the top of the pyramid. Yeah.
And then you go down, and here are the managers and here are the workers, and then this big bulk down here. So what really is that, right? Because they're going to always make that, let's call it $1 million. I mean, a lot of them are making way more, right? So they're the richest man in the world is all the way up here. And then all the people that are working for them are down here, right? What I'm talking about is that there is an amazing industry out there, and it is not network marketing, and it is multi-level marketing. And the reason why it is so, I believe, a game changer for so many individuals is because you don't have to have an education for it. You could, great. You don't have to have any special training. You could, great. You can start day one and start making money. We have an opportunity that does that. You can start today, tomorrow, you're already getting money deposited in the account. But the fact that the leverage of building the team, right, means that everybody at any point, at any position can earn the income. And yes, there are overrides that are paid, but it doesn't mean that you could never get to that higher level. It really means you get to implement the tools, the strategies, and the systems if you so choose to get to that level, that you get to determine what is the income that I'm looking to replace. For me, 15 years ago, it was $150,000 I got to replace. And the only way I can do that without killing myself was from this industry. Okay. Now, the beauty of it is also is that from this industry, I've been able to support women that, have 4 or 5 kids and are single moms who are coming off of welfare because they can't go out and get a job and pay for a babysitter and get the car and put gas in it. And you know what I mean? It's like they need to be around, they need to be present. So when you think about leveraged income, think about that and really be open to that. Work with team. You get to choose the people you get to work with. Nobody else is determining who is working with you, right? Which is super fun too. And then there's unlimited, right? You're not waiting every year for that 1%, 2% increase. I did, from day 1 to day 60, a 500% increase. From day 60 to day, 90, another 30% increase. So you can determine whatever your increases are depending on the time that you're putting into it and then working with the people that you're bringing in, right? So that's that. Then there's one more really quickly. Residual. I know it's a lot, but people have to learn this. Our children get to learn this because this is also what's going to get us out of a depression and a recession, right? People becoming empowered to become their own business owners, right? Mm-hmm. So then the residual income from all of that is we've now provided a service or a product that pays you for some companies in perpetuity and others for 20, 30 years down the road. And so then it's like you get laid off from a job or you quit your job, right? You do a case, you work a case 5, 7 years ago. They're not still paying you for that work that you did.
Oh, girl. Oh,
imagine, right? If you got 2-3% of that every year.
Yeah. And amigas, I just so I can interject here. I mean, this is amazing because, as a lawyer, you do your case and not every lawyer has the best accounting systems and not every client pays you. And that is like a whole different ball game. And now you're like, damn it, why did I pick this person to be my client? Which we can go into that mindset and what happened back then. But, to be in a position where you get to receive this residual income and not having to deal with that is magic. It is really amazing.
Now, can you imagine getting paid residual income from your very first job and that residual income being willable for 3 generations?
Yeah. Yep. Oh my God. Not in your regular 9-to-5 job.
Not exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's what I'm saying is that nowhere else can you find that kind of an opportunity. And people are being, they're taking the opinions of people who have never tried it or maybe tried and failed and haven't really sat down to understand, like anything else, right? It's like you go to school to become an attorney. You don't go to school the first day and win your first case on day 2.
No.
Right? But people come into an industry and they try it for 3 days and then they quit and they say it doesn't work. And it's like, well, that's not how life works. You're not an expert tomorrow, right? You get to learn and grow. And it really then means it's not even so much about like, and I mean, for me, I need to like believe in what I'm doing, but at the same time, I also need to believe that what I'm doing is just a mechanism for my ultimate goal.
A mechanism to my ultimate goal.
Yeah, because it's not always, you're not always going to be in love with everything that you do on every day. You get to just do the minutia of regular, like you're a business owner, no matter what kind of business you own, you get to be in the minutia. But the thing is that if you have an ultimate goal, right, that financial freedom that allows you the ability to travel for 6 months and take your family with you and, buy them whatever, like pay for my niece and nephew's college education and take them on around the world trip. Like those are the things that drive what we're doing today.
Right.
And so my question is, does the 9-to-5 even give you the opportunity to dream that way? And how long would it take you? Right? Does leverage income open up the Pandora box of possibility And then the residual income gives you that piece of, oh, my legacy is solid. My family is taken care of.
Yes, because here's the thing. I would say that the majority of people don't think this way. They think, okay, I'm going to work really hard to become VP of blah, 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 maybe president of the company so that I can really make a lot of money. And then I can have money so I can take them to vacation spots and blah, blah, blah. And then you have your life insurance plan, and you have like these other little things going on in your life. But trading your time for income is absurd, because you'll never get your time back.
Right.
You'll never get your time back.
Right. Right. And so the thing is too, I think, talking about time, right? It's like, oh, I'm going to work until I retire so that then I can go and spend time with their family. If you go and Google the statistics of what actually happens 6 months after somebody retires, usually they have a heart attack, they die, something tragic happens. And then what? You know what I mean? Or their retirement funds are not where they thought they were going to be. They're not really traveling around the world and doing all of these things for their family. They're not. Like, that's just not a way of life. Whereas now it's like, what we're really talking about is the work from anywhere revolution is the fact that you get to sacrifice these next 30, 60, 90 days, go all out to create the income, the space, the time, freedom, so that you can live the next 30, 40 years enjoying it with your family.
Wouldn't it be cool?
Flipping the paradigm.
Yes, I like that. Flipping the paradigm. It's not the other way around.
It's not the other. People think, oh, well, I can't take that time away from my kids now because, now is the most critical time. And I said, they're 2 years old. They won't even remember what you did with them today. But let me tell you something, if you take 90 days right now, and I'm not saying don't spend time with your kids, but I'm just saying you can't use them as an excuse, because then what the thing is that you come, when they're 12, when they're 16, when they're 18, when they really need you, and you're still hustling to try to make things happen, right? Like something, everybody's going back to school now, right? One of my dear friends and one of my business partners took his daughter to school. Something happened with her boarding. They needed to put down another $10,000. Imagine showing up at your to drop off your children at school, and you're a regular, like regular parent, whatever, right? You've saved up your money, you have what you have, and that's it. And then what do you do if you can't come up with $10,000 right there on the spot? Like, here you go, cash, take it out of the bank, put it on not even put it on a credit card, pay a check, whatever that looks like. They were able to do that. Why? Because when she was born, he was already saying, I want to be able to drive my daughter to school, no matter what, have whatever she needs at her disposal. And that's the life they live. She's never known her parents to have a job, but she's never been without. And then a time that comes up, they're able to say, here you go, no problem, we got you.
Wow. Yeah.
No.
And you know what I think in the Latino culture, it's like it's not common to live that kind of life. And so we are trying to educate amigas out there that there's a different way, a different paradigm, that you could still make that money and even more money without having to do the hustle and the grind.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You got to work hard. You got to work hard. And I want to erase those words from our vernacular, because I think just even the word hard carries a low vibration.
Yeah. Ooh.
And why do we need to work hard? No, we got to work smarter, amigas. Work smarter, and smarter means more free time. It really does. And being able to do everything you want, everything, and visualize a life that is beyond your wildest dreams. And create this revolution that you were talking about. It's what did you say it was? It was work from anywhere.
Yeah.
Revolution.
Yeah.
I mean, how many of us have that luxury to work from anywhere?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool? Like, now is the time, especially that we are being pulled in so many different directions and with so many restrictions.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh,
And I think, and I think the other thing is that, what we're really talking about is being able to say yes more than no, because you can't, right? Just that. And also just like creating an opportunity to have a backup plan. Like so many people I know that had amazing careers and amazing jobs and lived in beautiful towns and great homes didn't have backup plans. They had some savings. Sure. Yeah, we all have some savings, right? Some investments. Sure, we all have some investments, but really like something that could sustain us for these last almost 2 years now, not a lot of people had that. And it made them that much more, like vulnerable and sometimes even skeptical of anything else. But that should even say, you know what, I don't have another 2 years to be in lockdown and shut down and not being out in the world. What can I do that actually shrinks the time frame, that I don't have to reinvent a wheel, right? That I can learn someone else's system, leave my ego at the door, because I think that's the other thing too, is that sometimes people are too smart for their own good and they can't understand, the intellectually, like sometimes doesn't make sense. And I get it. I mean, I came out of a really intense industry, but it's also like, I also want to lay back and let somebody else, like, you go do the presentation and then let me, invite people to it. You go do whatever, you know what I mean? So that I can just like create more space for myself.
exactly. And especially like, for instance, like, me with 20 plus years as a lawyer, it's like, do I really want to go to court? No. Hello, no.
Oh, gosh.
You get the associates to do that because they're younger, more vibrant. They're gonna fight. They want to fight. And I don't want to be fighting anymore. But I'm a lawyer and I still feel in my heart that I could create wealth, without really having to practice law, but
Right.
still have be aligned with like a third party service that allows us to create that wealth.
Yeah.
And I know as a lawyer, I sought out everything, because I felt like, okay, how can I make that transition? What can I do from my perspective to really create a life of a legacy for my family, but still know that my clients' clients can still have the legal help if they need it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they don't need to go through me specifically, because guess what? If you go through me specifically, you're going to be paying a pretty penny. Just now, we're in we have a huge case. They're running tab in trial right now is about $80,000. Now, I teach amigas out there in my course about the mindset and how to avoid that calamity, because it is a calamity, because it shouldn't have never gone there. But at the same time, you're married, your stuff is happening, and you need an attorney. But there are certain parts of the law that you don't need to spend that much money, like for instance, like drafting a will, like positioning your family for a future life or future legacy, where, I mean, to be quite honest, I mean, I've created wills, I created trusts, I created so many things, and I see that there's a not necessarily a better way, but just a different way of dealing with it without having to pay that much money.
Yeah.
Because my billable rate, I mean, I'll be honest with you, at 20 plus years, easily I can bill $800 to $1,000 an hour.
Whew. Whew.
And that's because of all the experience that I have.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do that. Not everybody can afford that. And so if there are things in your life that are not, that you have to go to trial in, that you don't need a specific person to handle your case, there are certain ways that you can actually get the job done by these other different services out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the other thing to point out too, and I mean, and it's amazing, right? It's kind of like, I think also in our culture, right, we're taught, go to a really good school, become a doctor or a lawyer, like the approved careers, right? Like accounting, doctor, lawyer, nurse, teacher, right? And then but at the same time, it's like, oh, you don't call the attorney, right? That's only when you're in trouble. That's only when you're like have a massive thing going on, or don't, and so what we're really talking about right now is the ability to be able to empower people. And here, by the way, it's not even only like if you can't afford that, but it's like you can have the money, but why? It's not about how much you have, it's about how much you keep. Yeah. Like if you can get a lot of these, I'm sorry, but like if you can get a lot of the stuff done, right? And with accredited services, it's like, oh, well, I don't need to spend that $10,000. I can do it over here and have it be, executed accordingly and appropriately to the law. Right. And so, yeah, I mean, I think this is a great opportunity to kind of go into, if you'd like, this third party service that you're endorsing and that you have become an affiliate for, and that you will definitely, all your listeners will be able to click a link in the show notes to find out more information about. But, on the surface, it's not a pitch, it's really about understanding, and myself included, the reason why, for me as a business owner coming out of corporate and thinking about, wow, there were so many times that I was treated unfairly or taken advantage of or disrespected. Even, right? That I could have probably spoken to an attorney about that stuff, but like, did I think, was I going to go and spend those thousands of dollars just to ask a question? No, but now I am able to do that because a company was established almost 50 years ago for exactly that reason, to give people that empowerment to be able to say, no matter what your question is, let me call. Right? How many calls do you get from probably friends and family, right?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, it's like, well, Jackie, mira, tengo una pregunta. And it's like, okay, here I go. I'm like, okay, so what? Because I know you're not asking because you love me. You're asking me because of my knowledge.
Right.
I remember, I mean, I have an uncle I love and adore. And he would always make fun of me, but it wasn't not like far from the truth. Whenever we were at a party and someone was talking to me, he would come and say, don't talk to her because she's going to be charging you. No le hables, si no te va a llegar un bill.
Te va a llegar un bill. I love it.
It's so true.
Yeah.
We charge for our time.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. So I think, listen, at the end of the day, that's what we're talking about. Everybody gets to monetize their time for sure. But we also get to find ways to give ourselves our time back. Right?
I'm a yum. I say yum because yes. Yes, because we got the wrinkles to prove it. Yeah. Girl, the wrinkles, the aches and pains because of all the, the stuff, because we carry that energy in our bodies. Exactly. Unless we do the inner work to get out of it, right?
Right. But also think about it this way, right? So for example, right, I have a friend who her son has an autoimmune disease. She must spend, I don't even know how many, ridiculous amounts of hours on the phone with her insurance and healthcare providers and what was covered and what wasn't covered and all of this like craziness. And it's like, she could actually hire an attorney to go through their policy, to have the letters written on her behalf, to have somebody make the calls on her behalf, and with a membership, not have to use her time and her energy to go through that frustration and just focus on taking care of her son. Right? Or what about like a creditor, right? How many people I'm sure have asked you, hey, this creditor is threatening to take action against me. And what do I do? And you're stressed out and you get sick to your stomach and all this stuff. You could literally pick up the phone and say, this is what's happening to me right now. How do we handle it? And somebody can call on their behalf. And the beauty of it is how many more people you as an attorney, but now as an affiliate for this, can support so many more people doing it. But then for me as a business owner, as a coach, as someone who's helping, mostly women, some men, build businesses and create contracts and terms and conditions and, testimonial releases. It's like, that's a lot of stuff that a lot of business coaches are not talking about because they're not familiar with it. They don't have an attorney that they can refer. If they do have an attorney they can refer, it's usually $2,500 to $3,000, $5,000. Right? Meanwhile, this is part of my suite of services. It's now part of your suite of services. So for the amigas that are listening, that are business coaches or that are coaches that are helping people build and grow and do, you have now something to say, listen, I can support you personally with things that come up so that you can free your mind, free your time. But also as we're building and we're growing, we can really have the same way that I had when I worked at some of these major media companies, I had a legal department. Now I have a legal department on my phone.
Ooh, I like that. You have a legal department.
Yeah.
Like how many people can say that? Really?
Not a lot. Well, yeah. I mean, 4.4 million on this, on this service to be exact. But like, and if our listeners are really paying attention, what they're hearing me say also is that we're talking about multiple areas of law with accredited law firms that have been in partnership. Right? And this is all based on a shared economy system. So now if you think about other parts of the world where healthcare is subsidized, where some legal services are subsidized, right? This is filling that gap. Everything that we're constantly talking about is what are we doing? We're filling the gap in the need of a marketplace. And I believe in the United States and Canada, this is completely, tremendously game-changing, that it's filling the need in a marketplace that doesn't even realize that they have the need because they've been trained not to need the need.
Yeah. Well, like my uncle would say, no le hables a esa abogada.
Right.
No le hables a Jackie porque te va a cobrar.
Exactly.
In our community, like right. If you need to talk to an attorney, you're going to be spending a pretty penny. Yeah. I mean, and I know there's you can talk to associates or like, people that just got out of law school and they're going to be a lot more affordable, but you're not going to have all the legal training.
Well, and then the thing is that we're talking about also is access, right? It's like you want to be able to move quickly, move swiftly, have access. And also like, it's like when you're usually calling, if you're calling, right, for you, right, you can attest to this, it's on one particular question, one particular situation. Whereas I now have access so that if I find mold in my closet, or if I get into a car accident, or if I'm creating a new business entity, an LLC or contracts or whatever, I can call on all of it and my dollars and cents stay the same.
Yep. Yes.
Dollars and cents monthly, my monthly dollars and cents stay the same. And that's what we're really talking about. We're talking about how do you have access? How do you have like an extended reach, right, across the country? Because I know a lot of us too, it's like, I'm not just working in Santa Monica, California. I have clients in New York. I have clients in Florida. I have clients in Ohio. I have clients all over the country. I have clients in Canada. And I can support them across the US, and I can be supported across the US. If I'm driving from here to New York, right? If something happens in New York, so that's what we're really talking about.
Yeah. And then also, amigas out there, I'm a California-based attorney, and I wouldn't be able to help you out if the case is in New York, because my license doesn't go all the way to New York. Unless I take the bar, which God knows I don't want to take it again. Oh, hell no. That happened a long time ago. I don't need to do a repeat of that. Yeah. But that's a beautiful thing, because oftentimes I have clients that, like, I had a client in Tennessee, but because I was helping them with a federal case, I was able to do that. But if it was a state case, there's no way I could have done it. I could have
Right.
helped them out.
Right.
I would have to refer the case over, and I would not be getting any referral fee for that.
Right.
So this third party service, I really dug deep because I wasn't going to just, align myself with someone, a company that didn't do their work, and I did my work in terms of researching, and I wasn't going to just to jump on and no. I realized that this was a great company, and therefore, and that is aligned that if a client, I'm here to support everyone who wants to get supported, and not be afraid to talk to an attorney because your question is too small, or so simple.
Yeah.
So this is a great way of handling it. And amigas, I'm handling my shit all the time. So
listen, like that's the thing. I think, when we think about handling our shit and how many, like I think I'm 51 years old now, about to turn 52 in February in 2022. And, all the times that, like, even buying a car and not having that document review, everything that we're putting our names on is a document that is available to be reviewed. And we're just not taught that it is. And that with this, we can find that those extra charges or those things that are not to our advantage, right? It's like what we say, the bold print giveth and the fine print taketh away.
I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
And especially because I know you have some amazing women that are listening to your show and that are creating some spectacular companies and really in support of a lot and wanting to make a tremendous impact. Like, let's get you. I remember when I was first introduced to this, also, it was a breakthrough in even my business because there's a level of confidence that happens when now I have expert advice and a team behind me that I can say, listen, I want everything reviewed. And now I can move forward as a confident business owner with like that much more like lift in my own energy. And then like a few weeks later, I signed up another 5 clients. Like that's what happens energetically. You even give yourself space and freedom and independence. Right? Because you're not like in your subconscious, it's still like, oh, well, what if, and what if they come back? You have that. Even if we don't think we have it because I felt it lift,
Yeah. No, exactly. And it's pretty cool to be able to talk to someone that is knowledgeable and not freak out about the bill.
Exactly.
Because that's usually what freaks out people to even go to an attorney. It's the same thing that happens in immigration. They go to notary attorneys. They're called notary attorneys because they're not attorneys. They just are notarios, and that's not legal in the United States to have them review legal documents. And they do that because it's cheaper. But like the concept of it's cheaper to keep her, no, you can't. Nope. That is horrible. They find themselves in deportation, and I've done so much defense. It's incredible what, the community, the mindset behind it, and because it costs too much.
Yeah.
And now, with this affordable third-party service that I'm a part of, like now I can honestly say, like, listen, you can get your will, you can get a trust. If you're a homeowner, which a lot of Latinos in the state of California are, what's going to happen when they die? And they're scared to death to go try to talk to an attorney because that's going to cost them a lot of money. Now, I get it when you want to see someone eye to eye. Perfect. That's why we have the law firms that we have. You can come to my law firm to get an interview there. But for those of you who are looking for affordability and still, concierge level service, this is a great alternative.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? 100%. 100%. I mean, I think, again, I can't stress enough that, it's not, what with so many amazing new technologies and resources that are launching that are new, right? Even thinking about Amazon, like Amazon is actually fairly young. Spotify is young, like all these apps are young. And this is actually something that's been around for 50 years. That somebody
50.
50. Their
Oh, wow.
their 50th anniversary is coming up. And so what that really speaks to me in volume is that there is a level of service that you can anticipate. There's also a level, like they're constantly improving based on what's going on, but not from a place of being brand new and having to shift from a beta program. It's actually been something that's been sustainable and stable for quite a long time. And so whether it's as an associate like we are or a member, right, we have the ability to step into something that has already been proven.
Yes, absolutely. So Angie, I know you gave me some tips back in the day when we first were on the podcast, but I'm sure they're always changing and evolving. So do you have any tips for us on how an Amiga can handle your shit?
Yeah, I mean, I think number one, especially because of this conversation today and really thinking about your side hustle, it's, what are you looking at when it comes to a side hustle that, let's say, you don't want it to be something that you're trading time for, right? Because even if some people get into the trap to also is that they go and they create a business or something that now is theirs, but they're still trading their time for money. So now if we're looking at, okay, what can I be doing? There are plenty of companies that are out there that are third-party companies that you can look at their product and service, right? Build an alignment to what you're already doing, to your lifestyle, right? This isn't about siloed opportunities. This is about who are you as a person when you're evaluating everything that you do in the world, right? I'm a business coach and I'm also an individual business owner. And this really aligned with me because I was able to take care of both, right? It was like a twofer for me. So you really want to evaluate that. Number two is really like, what is the need in the marketplace right now? And right now, right? Especially with everything that's been going on, and have these opportunities been able to pivot with what's going on to positively affect the marketplace? Okay, this has so many opportunities, right? The product, like the usability, the accessibility, and the affordability are all things that we can put into combination and say, really, like, what are we doing? How are we utilizing this? And what is the end all goal at the end, right? Like, what is it, the bottom line for you in terms of cost, but also what's the bottom line for you in terms of percent increase year over year opportunity, whether it's from savings that you're getting from utilizing product or service, or whether it's that you're really utilizing it in that suite of services that you have. So I want everybody to, like, the biggest tip I want everybody to walk away with is thinking about what they're doing right now in the suite of services of who they are. Right? Because you are not just an attorney, and you're not just a mom. You're everything in between.
Yeah.
And people come to us and we don't give ourselves, I think as women, I think as Latinas, as amigas, enough credit for all the things people come to us for. And all of that is part of our suite of services, right?
Yes.
Or our knowledge base. Right? So however you want to think about it. So that's a bigger, like, broadening that. I just gave myself chills broadening that, because you really think about, like, well, what do people come to me for? And write down a list, because they know that I research, because they know that I do my due diligence, because they know that I'm in the know, because I have access to, whatever community, right? That I'll take the time, that I'll train, that I'll coach, whatever that looks like. You get to write these things down. And then the timing, like, what does the timing look like? And how much time do you have really booked in your calendar to not be where you should be? Look at that, really think and answer that question for yourself, because we think time is infinite, but it's not. After today, that's it. Today's gone. And then after tomorrow's gone. And so then we haven't made a decision, we haven't committed to anything, or adding something, or learning something new, then why are you doing what you're doing? Like, I really got to think of how can I be in full integrity supporting women who are in business and then not offering them a place to go? Right. Can't be. So think about those things. My tip is that think about the ways that you are opening up yourself as a suite of services. If you yourself are the brand, you yourself are the business, people don't only come to you for one thing, but it's really the combination of those things that create who you are and the value proposition that you bring to anybody that you come into contact with.
I love that. The value proposition for sure. And the suite of services. Oh my God, we can go on and on and on and on. Thank you, Amiga. Thank you, Angie, for being here with Amiga Handle Your Sh podcast, because I think these are pressing times, if you will, and things are going to get kind of crazy, but I really believe that if you can hone in into your gifts and talents and create a suite of services for your clients and customers, you'll be able to shine in this craziness.
Yeah, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, win-win situation.
Yeah.
All right, my love. Yay! Thank you so much, Angie, for being here on Amiga Handle Your Sh podcast.
Thank you for having me anytime. I just absolutely adore you and support you in anything that you do.
I love you as well.
Bye.
Bye.